Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Night Shader podcast. This podcast is also going to be put down on top of Minecraft episode 164. If you don't know anything about what we're doing in Minecraft, don't be afraid to go on to the Night Shader videos, and you are able to look up and see all 164 of the Minecraft episodes. Also, see them in their playlist. So I just want to say, howdy everyone, Night Shader here. A few things, this being the first actual podcast, I have a few things I want to talk about, and if you've seen the other Minecrafts and the other rants and stuff, it's a basic question. This episode is basically wondering what happened to common decency and people with a brain. I'm actually wondering this. So, this last weekend, I got to see and wonder about a bunch of different shit. One, why the hell do we let kids order their parents around? So, little known fact I don't really talk much about. My folks have a campground here in Wisconsin, and it's a family area where you get to see kids playing, you get to see adults act like kids again. But the thing that gets me is this last weekend I was going down to the store that they have there, and I just hear these four little fucking brats. No easier way to say it. It's four little brats. Just they had to be between the ages of 12 and 16, and they're telling their mom, and they were saying all kinds of mean and horrible shit to her, telling them, oh, I don't want to do this, you can't fucking make me, and cussing at her too. And it's like, if I would have done that when I was growing up, I wouldn't be alive. And not just that, also I'm in the store, and there's, the kid that we all know, he's like 6. They're not the normal people that are there. You have weekenders and you have seasonal people. The seasonal people have actual campgrounds where they have a trailer that is parked with add-on rooms built around it and porches, and they'll spend the whole summer and spring in that trailer, going and getting food, coming back. There's a small town nearby where you can go for breakfast and get stuff to do, and there's a store, another larger store, so you can get the things you need. But it's like, that one kid, that little itty-bitty kid who is just going to throw a tantrum. And I don't know how many other people were raised this way, but I was always told if your kid is having a tantrum, do not give in, because that just reinforces the behavior. Don't be like, okay, he's throwing his mind everywhere, he's crying, he's stomping, he's doing everything just to make a scene. You don't go, oh, I'm going to give him the Snicker bar. No, because then he knows if I do it again, I should get the same effect. I should get the same result. Cry, here's a candy bar. And it becomes a habit. But as you get older, you realize that's not how it works in the real world. And this woman's in there with this little brat, and he is just doing all this, and she is trying to appease this boy, trying to give him something, because apparently they didn't have his flavor of ice cream in there. And she asked, is there any more in the back? And they told her, because it's nearing the end of the season, no, what you see is all you get. And this kid's just losing his fucking mind. He's just losing it. And I'm looking, and I'm kind of chuckling to myself. She sees me and gets on my case, like, why are you chuckling? Why are you making the situation worse? I go, and I apologize, but really I wanted to look at her and go, well, the kid's doing pretty good. I see waterworks. He's pounding the floor. He's doing all this stuff. He's making a good show. I like a good show, and I'm down there getting dinner, so it's like I get a show before dinner. It's kind of cool. It's kind of awesome. Either way, I buy my stuff and I leave before I put a foot in my mouth. And I'm out driving, and there's this dumbass kid, which I will say this. I'm still trying to figure this out. During COVID, and yes, I'm going to keep jumping around because that's how my mind works, but it's along the same subject, where we have allowed children, and I'm saying anyone before 18, we are allowing children to try and act like adults, allow them to go and do things that should only be saved for adults. And we're trying to treat them like equals, and they don't like it when we finally act like the adults and parents. Because for some reason, my generation or the generation before me who have these little itty bitty kids and want to be their friend, they just want to be their friend. No. So I'm driving back from the campground back to my home, and there's just this one teenage fucktard. He's going 50, then he'll slow down to 35. Then he'll go back up to 50, then he'll come back down to 35. And he's doing this over and over, and then when the road is open, I get around him, and then he's right on my ass, honking, trying to get me to pull over. It's like... No, I get on the highway and he disappears because apparently his 2020-something can't keep up with my old man 2004 truck. For some reason, they think that they are entitled to the road, that they can drive any way they want, and anyone that treats them differently, oh, you're the bad guy. I'm trying to remember why we let kids do this. And I see it all the time. It's like, oh, or you even see them on TV. You get to see them on fucking Insta. And the parents sometimes when it's that, like that one little rapper kid. I forget his name. But if you go online, there's this little rap dude. He does rap, and his parents are his managers. And he has told his parents, like, shut up, and I'm the one that makes the money. And he's just a little fucker. He's just a little fucker. And it's one of those times where you just want to look at him and be like, I can punt you. And God. I'm from a generation where we used to get spanked, hit. And when I say this, because I know there's going to be one Karen out there, or there's going to be one snowflake who's like, oh, you were tortured, oh, you were abused. I was never abused, and the people that went through the spanking generation, they can honest to God tell you, we were not abused. A few of us, yes, they were abused. Everyone was, there is that case where they went too far. But my parents, I did not deserve one ass whooping I did not earn. I did not get one that I did not earn. Like once, I lit a firework in the basement. And my mom found out because the smoke gradually went up into the house and smoked the house, set off the smoke detector, and we had to air it all out. And the house stank like fireworks. My mom found out and whooped my ass. I was 14. My mom didn't give a fuck. She said, you will not act this way. You are not a dumb fuck. And then I got my ass beat. And when I say I got my ass beat, that doesn't mean my mom and me went 4 rounds Mike Tyson style. My mom knew she could get me over her knee and would just paddle my ass. When I was a kid, if I stole something, I got my ass paddled. If I broke something, I got my ass paddled. If I knew better and I did it anyway, I got my ass paddled. Something that a lot of kids nowadays need to remember, maybe I'm not the top dog in the food chain. Maybe I should listen to these people because it's easier to just sit there and go, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and listen than, I'm going to do it my way, then cry and bitch because, no one told me the consequences of driving a truck 60 miles an hour the wrong way down a fucking road. Or, there's so many things I want to talk about, but I can't. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I can't because I know I'm going to get in trouble because I know people who listen to this, and if I talk about their shit, I'm going to get in trouble. And they'll know I'm talking about them. Or the way that they're allowed to talk to some parents. I'm at Walmart, high class, and I'm sitting there, I'm walking around, and I hear, like, the kids on their phone, like, fine, whatever, God. And they're just giving so much fucking attitude. Or I hold the door open for them, and they just go, yep. Or I get the occasional kid who's mannered and say thank you. I got people who, it's just, I don't know what it is with the new generation and the old generation. The new generation, they're fucked up because we allowed them to get fucked up. The old generation, I want to put a foot up their ass because they know better. I work with this one guy, Lee, and yes, Lee, I'm calling you fucking out here. For some reason, no one ever taught him manners. The man will sit at a table, and then when he's eating, all you hear is just slopping his food, just smacking his lips. Like, I get it. If it's good, go. But then you're done. Chew with your mouth closed, too. I don't need to see what you're eating. I don't know what happened with people where our parents taught us fucking manners and taught us fucking principle where you say, please, thank you. You chew with your fucking mouth closed. You keep your elbows off the table. You know, basic manners. I'm trying to figure out what happened to us that we don't have those anymore. My parents have been praised because I'm 28. And for some reason people are going, this guy's actually nice. This guy actually says please and thank you. Says sir or ma'am until given something to call them. Where I even do this kid thing where the people go, okay, you don't have to call me Miss Smith. You can call me Miss. You can just call me Jenny. Okay, thank you, Miss Jenny. I will still call you Miss Jenny, Mr. Aaron, Mr. Roberts. It's not even to be funny. It's a respect thing. Until I feel more comfortable with you or you're older than me, you will always be Mr. or Miss or ma'am. Or you'll also be Miss, MRS, meaning you're married, or Miss, the younger equivalent of ma'am. It's not to be funny. It's not to be cute. It's to be proper. Yet you have these dumbass kids out here who see that and they go, "Oh, he's being Southern." It's like, no, the Southern states are just as bad because we had these little fucking kids who think, "Oh, it's funny to go around licking doorknobs for a challenge to catch COVID," and then they die, and everyone's wondering, like, why didn't anyone stop them? Because you think they'd use the brain cells that God gave them, or use the lessons that their mom and dad taught them about. Look both ways before crossing a street, hot water, cold water, don't lick a fucking doorknob, you don't know where it's been. But no, this means, now we have to look at the parents to add more limitations, more of this, more. I can't open a bottle of pills anymore because of so many different child locks. You gotta twist it, you gotta push it down, you gotta find the sequence on the colors. You need to be able to turn it upside down in 30 seconds, flip it back up, speak Urdu for the power word open, and then if you're lucky and the shiny Pikachu comes out, I can catch that and it will open the bottle. Back when I was a kid, you know what we used to do to keep kids out of the medication? We put the medication somewhere they couldn't get their hands on it. I know, right? That's kind of fucked up. Or if it was Tide Pods, we left it in a cupboard out of the reach of kids that were too young to understand, this is not candy. And then you have the kids nowadays who are in their 20s, like me, who eat Tide Pods. Yeah. We don't need them anymore in the herd. We don't need them in the herd. We don't want them in the herd. No. We can start thinning shit out if we just take warning labels off shit and let the stupid kill themselves. Let natural selection happen. Oh, you want to go 80 in a 50? Go ahead. Go ahead. Make sure you really press that gas pedal so that way when you hit the median, no one feels bad for you. And no one should feel bad because if someone knows, especially these young fucking kids who know, follow this rule, follow this, it's not to be a dick, it's to keep you safe. Oh no, we're going to do it the way we want to do it. And it's stupid. It's stupid because you know that kid knows better. They know better. But of course, they're going to do what they want to fucking do because, mommy and daddy said I was the special kid. I am God's gift to the world. When really, their parents are just in the background crying because instead of wanting to go to college or go right into the workforce or do something. They want to be a TikTok star where they think that with like 10 billion other people in the like 10 billion or a trillion people doing the same fucking thing as them, doing dances, they think, oh, I'm going to be that one that stands out. And I'm not going to say they're not. They might be. But that's a long, hard road, and most kids nowadays don't have that kind of conviction. I have seen at work kids that are 20, 19, and up to like 23. They are coming in by me over at my job at a warehouse where these kids think, oh, I don't have to do the job. My job is to stand here and listen to these guys, and I don't have to do the job. I can literally just fuck around, play around. I can play on my phone when there's an obvious policy that says stay off phone. I can listen to music when it says no earbuds or foreign or personal music of any kind. And they wonder why they get fired or they get yelled at or they get written up. Or why we get on their case. Kids aren't that stupid. They shouldn't be. And the worst part is, like I've been saying, it's not the kid's fault completely. It's the parent. It's my generation and the generation before me who allowed this to happen. Because we're not teaching these kids. We're not telling these kids. We're not teaching them and raising them the way we were raised. And that's how most of the way it goes. Like, think about the baby boomers. The baby boomers who were born around just after 47 into the early 50s because the soldiers were coming back from World War II, buying the houses, and then they had the big old baby boom where all the babies were born because soldiers came back and all they wanted to do was go to bed with their wives. And they had like 4 to 7 kids each. And those kids were raised by military men and women, and they were taught basics, they were taught how to take care of a vehicle, they were taught manners, they were taught respect. Then you get to the next generation. I don't remember if that's X or Y or what it is. It's one before millennials, where then they are brought up in the 80s or like 60s or 70s all the way up to now. They're still alive, and they're the ones that raised the millennials. The millennials are the ones that are coming in, and we're beginning to phase out the older generation, because now we're reaching our 30s. We're reaching our 30s or mid-30s by now, and we already had our kids, or we are having kids, and we're raising them the way we want to, not with less respect, because we want our kids to have... We have all this new technology. We don't want to raise them better. We want to raise them with love and respect, something that our parents said they never got and that we got kind of, and we want to give our kids more. We want our kids to live a better life. And instead of doing that, we decided to turn around and go, you know what, Billy? You want to go hang out with your friends in the sketchy part of town, and you want to take a gun with you? Go ahead. Mommy and Daddy think that's the best for you. But really, what you want to say is no. No. A couple years ago, back I think in 2005, so not a couple years, but back in 2005, a kid said, hey, we're going to go on a backpacking trip to Afghanistan. And these kids, and this is from a comedian who said this, and this was in the news, these fucktard kids went to a mountain range where the people said, don't go over there. That's the corner with Iraq and Iran. They don't like you Americans very much. And I forget which one picked them up, but they came in, thought they were spies, enemy combatants, and these people were put into prison until the Americans were able to get over and free them. You know, if their parents were around, they would have smacked that kid so hard that they would have went, maybe this is a bad decision. But now, unlike us, like me, how I was raised, my parents even say this to people, I am not your friend. I am not your friend. I am your parent. We can be friends when you grow up. When you are out of my house and you are an adult, Then we can be friends. Until then, I am your parent. You will respect and listen to me as thus. Then you have the kids nowadays who call their parents by their name. Their name that their parents gave them, where if we would have called our parents, hey John, hey Michelle, we would have gotten our ass beat because that is a lack of respect for our parent. Or the whole thing I was talking about, like, or here's one that actually gets my goat still because it kind of pissed me off that I had to do this. Back back in July of 2022, I had gotten my driver's license finally. I still have my driver's license, no problems with my license. But at the age of 27, I went and got my license. And I was told by Wisconsin after COVID, no, if you are over the age of 18, you have to take a road test. If you are between the ages, I don't know if they're still doing it, if you were between the ages of 16 and 18, you did not have to take a driving test. You could actually apply for your license online and get your driver's license. But you had to meet certain protocol, which everyone knows the kids lied about. A few of them anyway. So now we have these kids who are on the road who have never really fully driven. Or are currently going in and have never really fully driven. And then we have to deal with these dumb fucks who think the road is theirs. They don't know how to respect their vehicle, don't know how to work on their vehicles. I have this guy I work with. His name's Tate. Yeah, that's right, Tate. If you're watching, I'm calling you out too, not just Lee. Tate is the one guy I pick on at work because he's the kid that was never really toughened up. He was never really shown the real world. He actually brags he has never had a Snicker bar. He brags that he has never had certain food, and he likes to joke around about it. Yeah, he wanted to go into the Air Force, and he wanted to be all these different things. Well, I make fun of Tate. I call him Tater Bob, or I'm even mean and just go, hey, dumbass, get over here. Because, one, he has told me he doesn't know how to work on his car. Something I was taught the moment I was looking at, like when I was going to drive, I was taught how to change my oil, how to change a tire, and then to really improve upon mine, not everyone does this, but to improve upon mine, I went and started working at a trucking garage for a semi company. I'm not going to say their name, but then I had to bike 9 miles out, round trip, there and back for 2 years. That teaches you 5 different things. 1, I learned how to work on cars. A little bit. I learned the basics. 2, I know how to take care of my tires. 3, I was taught responsibility about how to take care of work, school, and home. 4, I knew about commitment because I biked out there for 2 years, year-round. In the sun, in the rain, in the snow, in the high wind. I had rides occasionally. I didn't have rides all the time. But I biked out there every day. Monday through Saturday. Unless, of course, I had schoolwork and they wanted me to keep my grades up. And the 5th thing I learned was no one gives a shit about you. Kids nowadays are taught, well, the world is your oyster. You can do anything. And you see kids who think that they're entitled to the air they breathe. They're entitled to everything, and thus we have Karens. But on the other hand, most of us adults were taught something very differently. The only thing this world owes you is the air in your lungs and what is on your back. That is it. What you are currently wearing and what is in your lungs. You are owed nothing else. You deserve nothing else. If you want something, you have to go and work for it. Everything you see every adult ever have is earned. Like this. I'm a fat guy. I know I'm a big guy. But I can honest God say this. For every pound of fat I have on me, for every ounce that I weigh, I have earned, bought, and eaten the food that caused this. I earned this fat. And there's this kid, I'm going to bring this up because it's a good representation. There's this kid, I forget her name, but you can look it up on the Dr. Phil website, where her mom is, I think, a lawyer or a paralegal or something. She makes good money. She had to go work her way up to this position, and then she lets this girl do whatever the fuck she wants. She doesn't want to go to school? Okay, we'll get you tutors so you can get a GED. Oh, you want a car? We'll get you this. We'll get you whatever car you want. And this kid wants a Mercedes G-Wagon that is like $200-some thousand, and she thinks, oh, well, the money is what's always been there for me because mom's always working. My mom was always working too. That doesn't mean I'm entitled to her buying me a house. My mom wasn't home all the time. Me and my sister, we were given food. Mom made food before she left. We ate the food, did our homework, and we went to bed. We had a routine. We had a way to live. But this girl who had the same life, she's younger than me, thinks, oh, because of all this, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I can go out and get 42 Louis Vuitton bags on mom's dime, and that I should, since I've lived this life for so long, instead of learning how to work in the real world, my mom should always take care of me. My mom's rank is now my rank, like they do in the military. Some wives, oh, I am my husband's rank, so I am a lieutenant when I've never served a day in the military. Kind of like that. And it's kind of bullshit when you think about it. Because, one, you're the parent who did this. Like I said, it's the parent's fault. They are encouraging this behavior because because even the mom says in this whole part with Dr. Phil, well, I feel bad because I'm never there, and this always happens, and she always cries, I don't want to be the bad guy. Life is not all good shit. Life is a horrible, horrible place. Life will beat you down, and if you let it, it will keep you there until you finally say enough is enough and stand the fuck back up on your own 2 feet. Don't believe me? Here's a little story for you guys about me. I lived with my parents until I was 26. I had money. Then I got hurt. Then I lost it. Then I got money again. Then I lost it. I had gotten to the point where, oh, I could buy this. I can finally go get my own apartment. Shit happened. Life happened. And it beat me down. And I lost all that money. And I was still living with mom and dad. Suddenly, my father passes away. I go into a deep depression. It's not until my good buddy, who is now currently my landlord, offered me a room to get me out of my parents' place and start acting like a fucking adult that I actually learned something. The world owes me nothing. My parents didn't owe me shit, and I became a recluse. I'm still pretty much a recluse, where I don't come out of my room very often. I'm not needed for anything. But that's how I live. I still go out, I have fun. I go to work every day, unless I'm sick. Then I stay home. And the thing that I know from some kids, they think, oh, I'm sick, I can't go home, I can't go to work, but I'm healthy enough to go to Taco Bell. Or, I might have COVID, time to go to the beach. It's those stupid fucking things where we haven't taught the kids what they need to know. And here's something sad. I'm actually thinking about doing a video series of this. Teaching children, teenagers, young adults, basic living skills. Welcome to Basic Living Skills. First up, the basics. Hot water is hot. Cold water is cold. How do you identify hot water? It's sometimes steaming, and you can't touch it without it hurting you like a burn. Cold water does not have steam, and if you let it sit long enough, below 32, it turns into ice. Basic knowledge. And like I've even said, after I get out of the military, I had the idea of becoming a home ec teacher. going and becoming a home ec teacher, teaching kids basic skills. Like, oh, I have 4 eggs. What can I make with 4 eggs? You can make scrambled eggs. You can make an omelet. You can make a poached egg. You can make eggs in a hole if you have 2 pieces of bread. You can do all kinds of things with 4 eggs. Or how am I supposed to get from check to check to check when I only have, after bills and everything, $30? 20 of that's immediately for gas, if it's a week. $20. That way it gets you to and from work. And then you have that extra 10, have fun with ramen. You can get a box of ramen for $3. And you can also go get eggs for $2. There you go. You have protein, you have your carbs, you have your salt, you have everything you need. And if you can squeeze a little bit more money out, say instead of 20, you want to do 15, and the extra 5, you can easily go and you can get vegetables for your vitamins and minerals. There you go. That's how you can survive. Like, someone needs to take the younger generation into tow and show them, hey, there's more to life than just smoking weed, getting pregnant, and just fucking around. But no one's ever going to say that to the kids because right now, with it becoming a campaign season again, with Biden and Trump both gunning for the White House, which is kind of stupid because Trump shouldn't be running, not with his legal battles and everything. And Biden, I voted for him last time. I regret that now because now he's getting so old, I fear he's getting senile. I mean, he's done a lot, I think, but on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. But the younger generation, I'm not going to talk to them because the younger generation are now becoming voters. So instead of wanting to be like, oh, we want to raise the minimum wage, we want to make it so it's easier to find work and the minimum wage is higher because the cost of living is higher, more along the lines of, and I actually agree with this one, they're going to be like, oh, we're going to legalize pot, man. We're going to make it so you can easily go to McDonald's and get a chalupa. They're going to do stupid laws that we have no need for, but they think, oh, the younger generation want it, and they're going to be the highest percent of voters. Yeah, a lot of these younger kids also believe, oh, going and voting is stupid. Or a lot of young kids who have never wanted to serve or do anything to benefit the country. Oh, the military is stupid. And it's one of those things where it's like we're losing recruits every day. And the recruits we have are spoiled brats who have never touched mud or have never run or never put on deodorant or whatever. And it's one of those things where it's like, again, you got to blame the older generation. The older generation didn't teach these kids this. It didn't say, hey, look between the lines, read what's actually going on in the news, what the government actually wants to do, or anything along that line. It's, if we were to take half the dumbass shit that we let kids do, like the challenges on TikTok, or the TikTok ban on government phones, or even the fucking shit that we make for them where the pants are already pre-ripped because it's fashion. Instead of doing all that, why not just be, okay, here kids, we're going to show you some cool fucking shit where you're going to be able to learn if, say, the power goes out, you can make a fire. Or for some of the kids that are not in the rural areas, here's how you kill an animal, dress the animal, cut the animal, and now you have meat on the table. Or, here kids, we're going to show you how to work a greenhouse. Actual skills that they can use in the real world to save a little bit of money or even enjoy something. Like I knew a kid back in high school, he was a city kid, moved up to where I lived, and he had never hunted a day in his life. He knew nothing about plants. He knew nothing except, wow, this world, the real world, it looks a lot better than Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And Then he started hanging out with my redneck friends who knew how to fish and hunt and everything. He became a very good angler, and he became a very good hunter. Where after, I think on his like 20th birthday, people chipped together to get him a 22 rifle that he wanted, and he still used that to bring in his 2 to 3 deer a year for just rifle season. His bow, he uses that to bring in 2 to 3 deer. He has a greenhouse on his property, and he knows how to take the spices from inside the greenhouse, take them, use them to make all the spices and herbs and stuff he wants. Go get tomatoes, cucumbers, and this is a year-round thing. He goes in there year-round and he's planting and he's growing. When one's halfway through the germination cycle before it starts producing vegetables, he's planting the next one. So by the time one is dying and going into the compost, the other one is ready to produce. And he is doing this constantly, just constantly. I think his greenhouse is like 50 feet long and like 25 feet wide. Like, this thing is a huge thing, and he has it on the property in his backyard. Takes up most of his backyard. And I think now he has a kid, and that kid loves it too because they're bonding. And he's teaching them how to hunt, dress the game, make the game edible, and then you go inside, you go get tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, whatever you want, cut them up, and there you go. You got venison stir fry. And that's what I mean by saying that his parents never learned this stuff, but he was taught through us. The older generation needs to start stepping up for the things that they do know that they were taught, teaching it to the younger generation, and taking the younger generation back into control. Because if we don't, sooner or later, we're going to have nothing but a bunch of kids who don't know how to work on cars, who don't know how to work on a house, who don't know how to hunt, wonder why we can't get fresh meat, are all gluten intolerant, and just a bunch of other stupid things that they could have avoided. All the stupid shit that they could have been taught early on, but never were. Also, my worst thought is it of an EMP. We're going to talk more about what an EMP is and what would happen, and talk more about that kind of thing, but I'm going to give you just a gist right now. An EMP blast, an electromagnetic pulse, pretty much will send us back into the 1800s. Back before phones, cars, and shit. Or new age cars and shit. And we'd have to rely on the old frontier methods like making lard. And knowing how to wash your clothes on a washboard. And knowing how to hunt, clean the game, serve the game, cook the game without modern day shit. Or, like I was taught recently, how to treat a wasp sting, how to treat a bee sting, how to handle a broken finger. Just basic things. Or the one thing I was taught that I actually use on a daily basis, how to keep a knife sharp. Like how to sharpen a knife. Because I don't know about you guys, but I still use a knife every day. Whether it be a butter knife, my actual self-protection knife, which is also my multitask knife, or what. My knife is a extension of me. It is there because I know I can use it to my benefit. I know I can use it to make my life easier. Like, oh, I got this thing cut. Okay, cut away from you. There we go. Got the tag off. Or, okay, I'm out here. I'm bleeding. I need to make a bandage. Okay, take my knife, a long way down the cloth, wrap the cloth, use a stick to kind of tourniquet it, and then wrap that down so it's holding the wound and blood can't get down. Easy. Super fucking easy. Not just easy, something that you can easily learn and teach. They teach you that in any EMT training to show you how to handle a situation where you need to put on a tourniquet, where you need to know where the vein is, how to tighten it down. Because, see, if you just tie a knot, it's still going to bleed like a fucking sieve. That's why you got to get a knot into the top part of that around a stick, and you got to twist and twist and twist and twist until that thing is so fucking tight that you can't see blood anymore coming out. That is how you deal with how you do a tourniquet. But at the same time, we're not anywhere near those skills. I'm just using those as examples. So, thus, my complaint this week, and I'm going to be doing one of these a week, is we need to start, well, not a week, a month. Or for the beginning of a month, we might do a week later. But I think this week is perfect for, we need to start taking the younger generation into a more close circle. We need to start teaching them, and we need to stop coddling them as much as we want. We need to start teaching them skills that are good for them, that is good for all of us, because otherwise they're not going to progress, and the people who are working hard today to make this world better for them and us right now, they're going to pretty much die out, and no one's going to know how to take care of anything. It's sad to say, but it's true. So, alright, so thus is the end of the Night Shader podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please tune in next time, as I think I'm actually going to keep my word and talk about the EMP, the worries of the EMP, and what that means for us, and why the government kind of isn't looking into preventing it. So, again, thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, leave a like down below. Subscribe today. And please remember, subscribe, comment. I want to hear back from you guys about new topics you want me to study and talk about. And remember, have fun playing in the dark. I will see you guys in the next one. For you guys watching the Minecraft, we will continue to work on the tower as you see me working. And remember, have fun playing in the dark. I will see you guys in the next one. Night.
AudioMicro.com